Okay, hello friends. It shows we are live now. To begin with, let me take a moment to make an introduction to a very special guest we have with us today in this live conversation. Of course, most of you are here because you know of Giordano Berti already and you know of his work. I am very excited and honored to have Giordano Berti for the second time on my channel. And Giordano is based in Italy, and he is a renowned historian and a teacher of esoteric traditions in art and tarot. Giordano also is a recognized author who has written books, guidebooks, and numerous articles on the subject of tarot, cartomancy, divination, and so much more. Giordano is the founder of Rinascimento Italian style art, known for the production of the most exceptional historic tarot decks and Sibyl cards too. And Giordano is a very special guest to me personally because he's my teacher, my mentor, my friend. So let's welcome Giordano back here in our teacher feature on my channel. Hello again Giordano, ciao,
Mascha.
benvenuti nel mio canale
Yes.
YouTube. It's so nice to see you.
I'm very glad to stay with you for this interview dedicated to a topic that is very interesting for me. I love a lot the Sibyl tradition.
Yeah, and many people, and I will link later our last year conversation, and it was pretty much a year ago, right, when we talked last time. And last time you shared about your tarot decks, about your history with the cards, right? And today, of course, we will be talking more about, the topic of our conversation. And I welcome everyone who is joining us now from Ancient Sibyls to Lenormand. So that's very exciting. And I'll just say hello to Derek. Derek was here first.
Hi, Derek.
Hi. So, yes, last time, it was a year ago now, right? And since last time, before we talk about Sibyllines and Sibyl and Lenormand, since last time it's been 1 year. So can you share any exciting maybe projects, decks, exhibitions or courses that you've been working on and we have released?
As you know, I create a lot of exhibition, almost one each year, about some different topics, different arguments of esotericism in art and philosophy, of course, because if you see the images and you don't know what they mean, it's impossible to understand. You can appreciate the beauty of the images, but it is necessary to enter in the deep of their philosophy. So the past year, I organized a great exhibition about tarot in Finale Ligure near Genoa, because that place was a very important place of production of tarot during the beginning and half 18th century. And from Finale Ligure, the third come to Spain, and from Spain all around the world. The Spanish world, the Spanish Empire. And this year, in March, I organized a very interesting exhibition in the castle of Vinovo near Turin, and an exhibition dedicated to the grotesques. And I took that opportunity to create a new deck, the Tarot of Grotesques, based on the printing, the engravings of Jean Theodore de Brie. He was a Flemish engraver. And
Beautiful. The colors are so beautiful.
yes, it's a wonderful deck. I used the 24 letters of the alphabet created by Johann Theodor de Brie to create this new tarot deck. Only the 22 arcana. Okay, but this is a very different tradition. Very different in front of the Sibyls. The Sibyls is not probably a parallel tradition, is another tradition, another divinatory tradition, Cartomancy. And the myth of the Sibyls is to the roots of the today fashion of the Sibyl decks, and in particular of the Lenormand deck. And so we are speaking about something different from tarot.
No, but I just, before we speak about, Sibyls, that's what I wanted to find out, because last year, people were asking about, some people are very new to historic decks, and they're interested in historic tarot, and they just wanted me to ask you if, for people who begin their historic tarot collection, and they just want to begin with historic tarot, maybe what one or two decks do you think are very important for beginners to tarot collecting to have in their collection? By the way, Cheyenne, hello Cheyenne, saying that the grotesque tarot is stunning.
Collecting tarot or Sibyls is a big deal. Is a big problem, because in the last half century, I mean, starting from the 70s, a great number of tarot and Sibyls are created from new artists. And in the same time, was rediscovered many historic tarot and many historic Sibyls. So we have hundreds and hundreds, maybe millions, different tarot decks produced in all parts of the world, all nations. And from my part, I love the historic tarot, because there is a lot of topics to study, to the artists, to the context of each deck, the authors, etc. But many people prefer to collect modern tarot, tarot of modern artists, and this is a great problem because they are a lot, and you have to choose the decks that are in consonance with your heart, with your mind, with what you like, what you prefer. And this is very expensive to buy all these decks. It's very expensive even to buy the original historic deck. I mean,
it's a very expensive hobby.
tarot, one original tarot of Marseille of the 18th century could cost around $5 million. And but when I reproduce the historic tarot, I want to reproduce them with the same paper, with the same design, with the same defects, and using a particular card with 9% of cotton, and using particular boxes with marble paper, similar to the paper used by ancient car makers. And my decks, of course, are in limited production. Is numbered and unsealed by me, and I want to produce this kind of deck because I don't like plastic, and I prefer to give people something very similar or absolutely identical to the old tarot decks. And now I made the same with the Sibyls. I started to reproduce Sibyls, as you know.
Yeah. No, that's very exciting for me because I like Lenormand and I like Sibyls, and of course that's the topic of our conversation. But so, firstly, when we talk about Sibyls, right? Let's maybe begin from the very beginning, from the ancient Sibyls before the cards, the Sibyls, right? Can you please tell us a little bit about etymology, what Sibyl is, right, and the history behind the Sibyllines?
The word Sibyls, it seemed to derive from the word to speak with a slow voice. Why? Because the Sibyls were prophetess that spoke in particular sanctuaries in various places around the Mediterranean Sea. And the most famous was the Sibyl of Delphi. And when people go to the sanctuary of the Sibyls, was a religious pilgrimage, and people go and give money to the priests because was male that take money, and the prophetesses, the Sibyls, stay apart and reply to the question of the people. And the Sibyl tradition was destroyed by the first Christianism. But during the second and third century of our era, many people, or some people, wrote the words of the Sibyls, the prophecies of some Sibyls, and these books. In these books, some Christians, some theologians understood some similar to the prophecy of the Christians. Therefore, during the Middle Ages, the Sibyls come back, return to have great veneration, and were written books about the old oracles, and the Sibyls were depicted, painted inside the churches. And during the 15th century, this tradition exploded. And for example, in the church of Siena, in the Dome of Siena, the Sibyls were engraved on the roof of the church. Is a great history of the Sibyls. It's wonderful because you enter in the Dome of Siena, and the first images that you see on the entrance, on the floor, are Moise and Hermes Trismegistus.
Right, yeah.
and then you enter in the church, and all the floor is stored with the images of the Sibyls.
Mm.
And this veneration continued during the following century, and many people created books about the Sibyls, and to enrich this book, um, asked to artists to design, to engrave the images of the Sibyls. In Italy, there is a particular tradition in a place of Italy, in the Marche region, and there is some mountains named Mounts of the Sibyls.
Wow.
And in this mounts, there was, until 20 years ago, there was a cave named the Cave of the Sibyl. And the little town in that mountain, Abandola is named, asked to me to create, I remember maybe in 1996 or 1995, to organize um, exhibition about the history of Sybis. And I searched many images, and in the palace of the major, I organized this exhibition with all the most different images of the Sybis. And in the same time, I bought some original books about Sybis. Do you want to see them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, no, sure. Share with us. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see.
They are wonderful.
And when you were saying, how Sibyls were painted in churches in the 15th century,
Yes.
what style of art? Was it more like the style of art of that time, like medieval and Renaissance art, or what style of art they were painted in?
No, not only Renaissance, Middle Ages,
Middle Ages?
Renaissance, Baroque art. Is
Okay.
a tradition continued until the end of the half of the 17th century.
Hmm.
Well, this is Oracula Sibillina.
It looks very old. How old is the book?
I protect each image with this paper.
Hmm.
This is the frontispice.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I want to show to you and your friends and our friends some images. This is the Sibilla Cimmeria.
Wow. So when was this book printed, Giordano?
This book was printed in 70, no, 67.
Hmm.
This was the Sibilla Samia.
They're beautiful images.
Yes. And just another one from this book.
Hmm.
And well, the text is in Greek with the translation in Latin. They are here 12 images. And this is De Sibyllis by Galleus. This book was printed in 1688. This is the
1688.
problem. in Amsterdam.
Mm.
I want to show you some images.
Oh, wow. Sibylla
What-
Libet. Mm.
and the Sibyl of Kuma.
Wow.
This
It's so
is
special to have such an old book.
okay. I want to tell you something about the Sibyl of Kuma
Yeah.
because there is the Roman myth or Roman history that tell this meeting with the Sibyl and one of the king of Rome, and she proposed to Augustus, the first emperor, to buy her book of prophecies, and the emperor say no, I don't want. Well, the Sibyl take the book, take a page, and pat the page in the fire.
Mm.
Well, now do you want to buy the book? The price is double. And the emperor say no. Well,
Mm.
take another page and pat in the fire. Well, do you want to buy this book? And so, and at the end, the emperor bought the book for a lot of money. And this probably was a legend, but means how much the Sibyls was considered during the Roman Empire. And the Sibyl books was used during particular moments of difficulties of the Roman Empire. Well, I show you some other images like this one.
Just bring closer.
The Sibylla Hellespontica. I pat the paper to protect the image.
Yeah. Oh, I want to
Just another one from this book and the Sibylla Egyptian.
Mm. Those images are just stunning.
Yes, they are very stunning. And another book is this one. Is a tiny different. This is Historia Deorum et Fatidicorum cum Eorum Coribus. Is the history of the gods and goddess of the faith and their images, printed in 1675.
Mm.
Okay. Here there are ancient magicians like Ernest Trismegistus, Trophonius, Serapis, etc., and the Sibyls. I go to the page of the Sibyls, like this one.
Mm.
She have a cross, Latin cross, because as I told you, some of the words of Sibyls was considered premonition about Christianism. You can see the Hermetic caduceus.
Yeah.
And the last one, De Oraculis Veteris Ethnicorum.
Miraculous.
Yes, printed in exactly. Can you see?
Printed in is it Amsterdam?
Yes, in
Yeah.
1700,
Mm.
in beginning of the 18th century. This is very particular because the pages can be opened
Oh, wow.
like this one. And this place still exists today near Rome.
Mm.
Is the temple of Sibyl near Tivoli, in Tivoli, near Rome. Is a fantastic place, uh, very magic, if
Mm.
I can use this word. And there are many images like this one.
Yeah, those are very special images. Thank you so much for showing us. It's like such a treat.
And I search another one, very particular. Okay, this is very interesting because the images shows the furor of the Pythian, the Sibyl, because um, the tradition says that Sibyl was invaded by a spirit, and they speak with their mouth, but with the voice of the spirit.
Mm.
And the priest translated their word to the people. Well, I I don't want to bother you with all these books.
No, it's no bother. Our friends are saying here, Cheyenne is saying, thank you so much for sharing these images with us. And Derek is saying that those books are phenomenal. Yeah, what a treat,
I
right?
can drink
Yeah.
something.
You've got another one. I just have a drink. All right.
Well,
Yes, but Giordano was the Sibilla Dax. What got your interest in, because I know that you started with Stero, but what got your interest in more Sibilla and Divination Dax?
repeat, please.
What inspired you, right, to produce Sibilla Dax, and how did you develop interest in them?
Well, I I want to reproduce all decks, in particular, also not only tarot, but even Sibyls, when they have some particular contents. Um, as you know, and as I told some minutes ago, a lot of artists reproduce Sibyls like the Lenormand on the other Sibyls, but they are absolutely invention. Many times the artists don't know nothing about esotericism, don't know nothing about history of esotericism, about philosophy, esoteric philosophies, but they work on the images. Sometimes they produce very nice images, but without an heart, without thoughts. And I prefer produce decks that have heart and philosophy that can be used from people of today, not just because they are fine or beautiful. Yes, I like beautiful images, but I prefer that these images have some context. For example, um, since many decades, um, exploded the fashion of the angels, and Doreen Virtue was diva of the new angelic tradition. But some people used this fashion to recreate a new angels deck. Well, I because I know very well the history of angels, of angelology, both in Catholic and Catholic tradition and in magical tradition, and even in Hebrew tradition. I wrote even a book, a Greek book. I want to show you this book. Okay, this is my book on the other world and dedicated to the angels.
Can you show the cover of the book again?
Yes. Okay, and there is a dictionary of angels at the end of the book. It's completely illustrated. The book was translated in Japanese, Polish, French, not in English, unfortunately. However, uh, I decided to create a true angel deck based on the true Kabbalistic tradition. And therefore, I created this deck, True Path of the Angels.
Would you consider the deck a tarot deck or Sibylla deck?
This is a sort of Sibyl, a sort of Sibyl dedicated to the angel. The Sibyls usually have 32 or 36 images. This deck has 32 images plus one because the path um, of the Kabbalistic tree, the tree of life, have 32 paths. Well, I um, I've written the screenplay, the sceneries for the artist, based on the Kabbalistic tradition. And for example, starting from the beginning, the first, okay, the angel of Keter. The angel of Keter is the first angel created by God, by the divine providence. The angels are created as lights with different powers, but the first is the angel of Keter. The Keter is the crown of the tree of life. Therefore, this angel has two crowns. One crown for related to God, to the divine providence, and one crown related to the humans that are able to arrive to the top of the tree of life.
Yeah.
This is, and all the first 10 images of the angels are related to the 10 Sephiroth of the tree of life.
Yeah.
The following images are related to the Hebrew letters. And for example, the angel of Ein, you see the angel of Ein that see far on the sea. I used the images, projected this image. Why? Because Ein, the letter Ein in the Hebrew language is an I, and this is the reason that I created these images um, produced by an artist, and all the other images are related to the Hebrew letter,
Mm.
and sometimes, and I wrote a short explanation.
Yeah, of the card, yeah.
Okay, this is a new deck invented by me, but uh, I even produced new decks, sorry, old decks. I produced old decks like this one, the Sibyl of the Secrets, is
Yeah,
the faithful reproduction.
I have it here as well, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I have it. Oh, but you show, yeah.
The faithful reproduction of German decks produced in around 1860.
Yeah, I like this one. It's very charming, and it's a
Yes, this is interesting because it's one of the first deck, Sibyl deck, related to a parallel tradition of the Lenormand cards. The name was the Book of Destiny.
mm.
And during the 18th century, there was 3, 4, maybe 5 different traditions
So
from
are we
the.
talking about beginning or like somewhere middle of the 18th century?
Well, maybe it's necessary to explain the origin of the Sibyl decks.
Yes. Yeah. So and also for people who don't know, Sibyl, well, the decks that we call Sibyl decks, right? They were created, well, tarot was created, tarot key, to play games to begin with, right? And Sibyl decks and Lenormand decks were created for divination. Is it correct?
Yes, yes. The term born as a game, an educational game, because 22 triumphs was parted in together with 55 common cards. Why? Because the common cards was used for by the gamblers for hazard, and hazard was a great problem, and probably was the Duke of Milan to create this new deck, patting 22 triumph derived by the Bible, by the triumph of Petrarca, by from other sources, and in the beginning of the 15th century, born the tarot, a little different from that we know to get today. The deck of Filippo Maria Visconti now is kept at the Beinecke Library in United States, and the tarot spread in all northern Italy, and then as a game and then out of Italy, in France, Switzerland, Germany, and remain a game um, until the half of the 17th century, of the 18th century, excuse me. During the 18th century, we have the first proof of the use of the tarot cards for divination in Bologna and in Italy, and in Paris, in France. And but the first Sibyl cards, the first cards invented, created for divination, born before the tarot became a tool of divination. Almost 1 century before that date.
And do we know what were the earliest divination decks or Sibylla decks?
Yes, divination decks. We cannot speak about Sibyl deck. We can speak about divination deck with.
But you know how, like, I think probably I read somewhere, because I think why they refer them as Sybils now, because like your 32, 36 card, each card is a little Sibyl. You know, like each card can be used to,
Yes, yes,
as a
it is
Sibyl.
so.
Mm.
And the first cards of divination were properly cards for players, and sometimes people wrote the meanings of each cards over the card. And probably in England or in Germany, some printers take the opportunity to create games of parlor, telling cards, using this tradition to write sentences on the playing cards. But some others started to translate in images these sentences, and started the first divinatory cards, properly named. And this tradition continued in England, Germany, and French until the beginning of the 19th century. And I have some, probably this deck, this box very hard.
Wow. Is it full of decks? Lots of decks?
Yes, yes, yes. I take just one, this one.
Is it the oldest that you have?
Yes, one of the oldest deck I have. Okay. This deck,
Oh, that's exciting.
this deck was named the Sibyl of Salons.
Mm.
Okay, and there is the traditional image of the playing card, and a new image with with its meaning. And
this one was from 1800s, right?
this deck was printed in the beginning of the 19th century,
Beginning of the 19th.
reprinted continuously during that century. Well, they are new.
Because this one also, it's from my memory, it's the one that features the artwork by J.J. Grenville, right? The artist.
Grenville.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because you see, like now, this deck was very rare and out of print, but I think last year, and that's how it comes, it's Grimoire, but they reprinted
Yeah.
it last year or 2 years ago. So
Yes.
it's really good that it's available now, because for a long time they changed the backs are like that now.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and of course probably the paper is not as nice,
It's
but at
different.
least that's the original. Yeah.
Okay. And during the beginning of the 19th century, started to be created various kind of new telling cards, divination card, cartomancy.
Mm.
And after the death of Mademoiselle Lenormand, it is necessary to speak about Mademoiselle Lenormand, born in Alençon, and she spent many times of her youth with different jobs, and during the years of the revolution, they was the prophetess of some the cartomancer of some revolutionary people, Danton, Robespierre, etc. This is what she said in her diaries, but many people say that these diaries are fake. It is sure that Mademoiselle Lenormand was the cartomancer of the Empress Josephine,
Yeah.
the wife of the Emperor Napoleon I. And this was a great promotion for her, and start to wrote a lot of books, but she don't create never a new deck. When she died in 1843, her death was reported by many journals, like this one. This is the original journal, and
It's
this is
amazing that you have this journal.
an article dedicated to Mademoiselle Lenormand and her death. And here, an image of Mademoiselle Lenormand, the hand, the left hand of the Empress Josephine. And there was an authentic exaltation of Mademoiselle Lenormand in that period. And at the end of the century was written opera theater with dedicated to Mademoiselle Lenormand. This
What
was
was the name? What was the name of the opera?
the name of
Of the opera?
Mademoiselle Lenormand.
Oh, okay, so it was just named
Yes. Mademoiselle Millie Meyer in the
Mm.
role of Mademoiselle Lenormand.
Yeah,
And
that's amazing that they did the opera as well.
starting from that epoch, there was a exaltation of Mademoiselle Lenormand, and some books was written about her, and a new portrait of her was created, very different from the original.
Mm.
This
So in
was
the journal, but the article in the journal, is it accurate historically, Giordano?
yes, yes,
Mm.
because this image was used by from other journals, and this one, Mademoiselle Lenormand, is very, very different.
So this one was created for marketing, was it?
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
And diciamo, using that marketing operation, many car makers started to attribute to Mademoiselle Lenormand the creation of a particular deck named the Petit Lenormand. And I take this box full of decks. I hate to search it. Okay, this box contain this deck.
Mm.
The images of this deck are absolutely the same of the Petit Lenormand.
Yeah, it's the game of hope, right? The German one.
Yes, the Dondorf deck.
Oh,
And, yes, and I search.
And these decks are from your personal collection, are they?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's amazing.
I spent a lot of money.
I can imagine. I was looking like a few months ago, I was looking for Dondorf. It's too expensive.
Okay, this one is by Dondorf.
Oh, wow. You see, I have a copy of this one.
This is the original.
Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing, Giordano.
Yes, and sorry for take you the time. No, not this
No,
one.
no, I'd love to see those, and people who will be watching back, I'm sure, because we don't see original old decks.
Yes, this is another. Ah, this is from the beginning of the 20th century. This is produced in America, United States, but the images are the same. The Petit Lenormand is the same. They change the artist, but the images don't change.
Yeah, because Petit Lenormand, it's a system, right? It's a 36 card system and it has playing card inserts. It's like one of my favorite systems when it comes to cartomancy.
Yes, but in the same time, many other decks were produced, like this one, because I told you that there was 4 or 5 different traditions.
Mm.
This is another tradition, very
And
different
and
from
this
the
one is a German tradition, or where from? Or is it was
German. This is
German? Yeah.
German, yes. Is if some problem with the deck because it's very, very old. This is the back. Do you like?
Yeah, very much. And we have people here also saying, Shane is saying how exciting to get a glimpse in the box. And Natalie saying that she could watch you show these decks and books all day long. She's transfixed. I'm the same. I'm like so quiet because like, wow, they're real historic decks. This one, it looks like very much like Vera Sibilla.
Yes, I have one. Okay, I put in this box and I show you another. This is the Vera Sibilla. Another Vera Sibilla. Okay, this Italian. Okay. During the 18th century was produced even the keeper cards.
Oh, yeah.
This is the back.
And while you're showing Keeper Giordano, can you mention, how those divination decks, they were produced in different countries, right? Can you just kind of mention briefly on that? Because we had, Keeper was in Germany, Game of Hope started in Germany, but then Lenormand became popular in France, right? What other decks, like what other countries were producing those fortune-telling decks that we still have preserved?
Yeah, the places of production of the major part of divination decks was in Germany, in French, and in England. And it's obvious because in Spain or in Italy there was the Catholic thoughts. I don't speak about the Inquisition, but the Catholic thought don't like the divination
The
because
fortune telling part,
yeah,
yeah.
yes, of course. There is a philosophy, a theology about this thought. I don't speak this about in this moment, but there is a very good reason. Well, regarding Mademoiselle Lenormand was produced even this deck, the Jeu de Société de Mademoiselle Lenormand.
I haven't heard of this one. Ah, it's Grand Jeu Lenormand. Now they call it Grand Jeu Lenormand.
Grand Jeu, yes. Okay. And
But
even
can you, for people who don't know, can you show one card? Because this one is very interesting. It's got everything.
well, I take apart just the images with the sceneries of alchemy.
Yeah, we have alchemy, we have astrology. I think
Yeah,
geomancy is there, like little dots. Yeah. And we
yes,
have the main image, and it's actually quite fascinating. I've been studying it a little bit.
yeah. Is a very complex because there is alchemy, there is mythology, Greek mythology.
Yeah, that's why I like it, because I like Greek mythology.
Me too.
That's why I like when I first, because the main image is, yes, from Greek mythology. Yeah, Natalie is saying that I need to thank you, Giordano. Thank you for having him for an interview. It's
I
the
want
second time, Natalie, by the way. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
no. There is an important production in German countries, and in particular in the Austrian Empire. The Austrian Empire was very great, and including people from with different languages like Italian, German, Czech, Serbian, Croatian, Hungary. Therefore, the producer of the car makers starting to produce decks, multilingual decks, like this one.
And what's the name of this one?
Wahrsagekarten.
Wahrsagenkarten, yeah.
Wahrsagekarten, that means cartas de divinación, fortune telling cards. And this one, no, it's not this one. Where is? I lost the deck. Ah, this one. Okay. Is it another? This decks was produced by Piatnik from the end of 19th century. Yes.
And Piatnik was originally based in Austria, right? Or
Yes.
Germany? Yeah, Austria, I think, yeah.
Yes. And this was produced in Czechia.
Where was it?
Czech, now
Czech Republic.
Bohemia. Okay.
Yeah.
The old Bohemia. And you want to see the Sibyl, Italian Sibyls,
Yeah, La Vera Sibilla. I like it a lot.
the true Sibyl.
Mm. The only problem I have that there is only one book in English, so I started translating some books I found. Yeah, I like this one a lot. It's really great. Like it's really fun. It's very chatty deck.
This is the back.
Beautiful.
And I have other Italian fortune telling cards, like this one.
But they're quite similar to Vera Sibilla, right? They're just kind of different artists, but very similar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because one time that the first artist created a model, many other artists worked on that model and created new decks. But
Yeah.
the
You see, I have the modern, like I have this one. I think it's very popular in Italy. And I got it like 2 years ago. But you see, yeah, what I did, I put all the English names on top. So I put myself English name. Yeah, but now I'm okay. Now I understand.
Well, I want to show even this one. This
And
is
what's this one?
the back and the front.
Oh, that's very different.
Yes,
Is it an Italian deck? Oh, it's
yes, with the numbers of Lotto.
okay. Yeah, because this one also, the one I have.
Yes. Do you
Yeah,
like?
this one also, yeah, has lot of numbers at the bottom. Yeah.
And well, this is my little collection. Now there is even this one.
I think we're all very jealous of your collection, Giordano. It's an amazing collection as wow. Especially for people like me, I like divination decks. I like fortune telling decks.
This is French from the end or the beginning of the 20th century.
But it also looks like it's very much inspired by Vera Sibilla, the images.
Yes, I like a lot Vera Sibilla. And you asked me about the production of the Sibyls. Well, in 20 years ago, a Spanish Spanish publisher, asked me to write an encyclopedia of divination. And I wrote this is the encyclopedia.
Wow.
In Spanish, and every week was published this folder with the history, the Nostradamus in this case, and the explanation of the deck. And each week were attached to the folder one deck. And here I have some of that decks. For example, this one. Are you here? Okay.
Yeah.
This one. I know the original deck, the original one, and don't have this.
Borders.
Yes, this border is very, very, very nice. It's the original. This is industrial production, and
But it's okay, the colors are nice.
yes, the colors of the central image are very nice.
And they, the publisher, they gave this deck to people with the magazine, like people who would buy the magazine, they would get a deck.
Yes, people bought the in bought the folder with the deck together each week,
Wow,
and
it's an amazing project.
I made the project, and people and the publisher gave me a lot of money for this work, a lot of money, and so I produce this, I create the reprints of old decks, old
Oh, that's
of
amazing.
yes, but I had to create new Sibyl decks. And so I created, for example, this one, the or the oracle of the Kala Chakra,
Okay.
or the oracle of the animals. And this one is very particular because I take the painting, the oil painting by a great artist, great Italian artist. They are 32 images related to the tree of life.
Mm.
And with his paintings, I create this deck, very similar to the tarot, as you can see.
Yeah.
And from that experience, because I sell to the publisher the rights for use the encyclopedia, and my name, of course, was written.
Oh, I can't see.
Okay.
So where's your name? Can you show? Oh, yeah, I see your name. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I found it.
Yes, but the publisher sell the encyclopedia to another publisher, and during the translation, my name were disappeared.
Oh no.
Yes. However, well, I told you I sold the rights for the encyclopedia, but all material of study I used it to create a wonderful book that is this one.
Okay, so you could still use your material.
Yes,
Yeah.
History of Divination.
Mm.
And this book is very interesting because it's divided in various chapters: the divination with fire, the divination with the water, the divination with the air, with the vegetables, with the stones, and is a very great book. Now this is a little ruined, but I use it for my work. And so I have a great experience with this tradition, and today I use this experience to recreate many decks, but not with industrial production, but with the artisanal production. Because I like to produce uh, authentic jewels, and each detail of the deck of my decks have to be wonderful. The paper, the bag, the boxes, all have to be wonderful.
Yeah, because well, you know that I like my Sibylla decks, I like my fortune telling decks. That's why when you produced this one, I was so excited. You know, the Sibyl of the Secrets, La Sibilla dei Segreti. I
Yes,
just was so excited because it's like the original deck, small size. You know, it's such a wonder. This one for me, it's a treasure. I love this deck so much.
yes, yes. And I have to thank the Sofia Kuznetsova, the Russian psychologist and expert on Lenormand decks, because she wrote this fantastic booklet in uh, in English. The
Yeah.
booklet was even in Italian, of course. And in my introduction, I wrote a synthesis of the origin of the Sibyl cards.
Yeah, that's how I learned. I learned from, yeah, from your introduction here. Yeah.
The game of hope and other
Are
decks.
you, yeah, are you planning to produce more decks like that? More
Yes,
divination
absolutely,
decks?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But for at the moment is a secret.
A secret, yeah.
Yes, but
I
I think,
also, I know it's a secret, yeah, but I would love for Rinascimento to produce a little Lenormand deck. I would be so
yes,
happy.
I will
I love
do.
Lenormand.
I will do. But the next deck was will be tarot. Do you want to see?
Yes, if you can show, yeah, because I don't know if you can share here or not.
2 days ago, I was to the printer to take the proof of print. Do you want to see them?
Yes, please. Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask, but I didn't know if I was allowed to. And
Well,
yeah, so can you share the print and the original? Because I think I know which deck you're talking about.
and ta-ta-tang.
Tell us more.
Well, this deck was uh, designer designed by a member of the Martinist order. His name was Jean Chabozot. Jean Chabozot was the son of Augustin Chabozot, that together with Papoose created the new order of Martinists in 1888.
Okay, so that's why you see, like when I saw the images for the first time, I thought they kind of reminded me of Papoose.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. In fact, and Jean Chabozot know when was a kid, know personally Papoose, was fascinated by his philosophy, the philosophy of Papoose and Chabozot, his father. Um, and I'm completing the booklet for this deck because it's very interesting to know the philosophy under these images. Um, because not all people know the philosophy of Martinist. They is synthesized with the name the path of the heart,
Hmm.
because the Louis Claude de Saint Martin, the father of the Martinists, wrote some books at the end of the 18th century and the beginning of the 19th century. Uh, some books dedicated to the initiation, and he wrote that each initiate had to take his heart clear and his mind clear and follow the truth of the heart and mind, and follow the divine providence. And he never created an initiatic order, but people after him follow his teachings. And at the end of the 19th century, Papus and Chabouzot found the Martinist order. And Chabouzot was, after the death of his father in 1946, was called to direct the order of the Martyrs. But the following year, he stopped this work and retired him in nel sonno, in sleep. The jerk, the words is he pat himself in sleep. But in the same time, he produced this book. This is the original book. I brought it with plastic because it's very
Very old.
fragile. And at the end of the book, he put the images in black and white of the deck of Martinist. So I take the images and I ask it to an artist to paint the
Yeah,
images.
yeah. And will you be doing full deck or yeah, full deck? Yeah, I can see that's full deck.
Yes, yes, 78 cards. And this is the proof, and very soon the deck will be produced. Just the time to finish the booklet. But as you know, I put a lot of time to write a book because I'm search in every direction. But I organize exhibition. I take conferences. I have a lot of jobs.
Always busy, busy, busy.
Every day, absolutely busy.
But your booklets are fantastic, Giordano. I mean, yeah, everyone in the community who has your decks, all of your decks, they do come with those booklets, and they're so the information is just yeah, especially for us who are interested in the history of the cards, the art behind, yeah, the importance, the symbology is just like it's invaluable. That those booklets are invaluable. Yeah.
Yes, I want to create this collection even to give to people, to the lovers of tarot and divination, to give them a good instrument to know what is the object that have in their hands. I know many the most part of the card producers or the tarot producers don't are not interested to make it to tell the history. They prefer to explain how to use this deck, but where and when and who created this deck is not interested for many people. I am interested to the history and of course to the use of the decks, but I think that it's important to know the origin of these decks.
No, absolutely. I agree.
Some time ago, speaking about Spanish cartomancer, they asked me why you don't write only about fortune telling, and you spend a lot of time to search the history of the deck. And I explained that well, you can use an auto, an object like the freezer, like some every object. You can use it without know the history of the freezer or the every technological objects. But if you know that history, you are more aware. Is is correct? Aware
Yeah,
of
way.
conscious of the possibility you have in your hands.
No,
If you,
absolutely. And if we understand the history and cultural associations, because it can be, like Lenormand. Yeah, for example, we have German Lenormand, we have Lenormand later produced in France, right? But people read some cards differently because in France, for example, lilies, right, they would associate it with fleur de lis, right, the king symbol, when in Germany there is no associations like that. So people assign different meanings because of the culture. But if you don't know that history, you don't understand.
yeah, yeah,
Like in order to understand the application, I think, of the cards, you need to understand the art or the history and the artist, if there is an artist attached to it.
yes. And there is a particular example of the misconsciousness of the tradition. mm, it's in Brazil. In
Hmm.
Brazil, Lenormands are used by all people, but the name Lenormand is not very used. They use the name gypsy card or baralhos chiganos, and they don't know nothing about the origin of the deck and prefer um, uh, um, to follow a new tradition that attributes the origin of this deck to the gypsies. For example, this
Yeah,
one.
if you can show some cards, yeah, I would love to see. I've
Yeah,
never seen this. Oh, I mean, it's not Lenormand, but yeah,
yeah.
let's say
This is
for the purposes.
yes. This is
Oh, yeah, it's very Lenormand.
is an Lenormand deck, but they prefer to know to that this deck was invented by the gypsies. But when I was in Brazil and I asked who are gypsies, and they said that the true gypsies come from another time, from another world, from another dimension. The gypsies that we know in how roads are not the true gypsies. The true gypsies come from another time, another dimension, and are um, a spiritual race.
Yeah, so for them, what gypsy means to us, it's very different what it means to them,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
They thought that gypsies come from another world, but the the barallos egipcianos is sostanzially is Lenormand.
Same images as the same symbolic images as Lenormand.
And in Russia, there is another tradition that take the Lenormand deck and
I never knew it. I'm from there, but I lived under the rock.
you come from Russia, but you don't know this tradition.
No, but you see, because I only found Tarot in 2015 and Lenormand 2017, and then other decks. Yeah.
Okay, this is very nice because the all the images of the Lenormand deck has been translated with the images of Russian tradition, and this is really wonderful. The the sheep.
Oh, it's lovely. What's the name? What's the name of this deck? Should know.
What's the name of the deck?
Ah, okay, that's Russian Fairy Tale Oracle.
Okay,
You can trust me.
I love a lot this deck. I never used it, but I like a lot. And this was sent me from the director of the Tarot magazine. Do you know Tarot magazine?
No, I don't like you see, like I only I discovered tarot and Lenormand only in the English speaking world. I actually only have one book in Russian, and it's only because one of my Instagram friends, he's from Russia, and he recommended it to me. It's a very good book on Lenormand, but I only have one book when it comes to Cartomancy in Russian. Yeah, I can't even. You see, it's interesting because I learned Tarot and Lenormand in English. It's very hard for me to read the cards in Russian because I don't know, I don't know the language for that particular subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Russia, started a new tradition until the beginning of the um, 20th century. The esoteric tradition, the Russian esoteric tradition, was substantially French because Papius go in St. Petersburg and plant the seeds for this new tradition. But with the Bolshevik revolution, this tradition almost disappeared. And during the last decades, Russian esotericists take the teachings of Aleister Crowley and started a new Russian tradition based on Crowley teachings. And at the same
So it's
time,
more like basing it on like Thelema, like Thelema tradition.
yes,
Yeah.
the polemic tradition, yes. And both black tradition, both white and red tradition. Uh, Actually, the tradition is the same, but the use of the rituals are different. And well, if you have some other questions to me,
Yeah, I want to talk quickly. I mean, I know that we've been here for a while. I want to talk quickly about the Sibyl of the Heart. If you can just share, because the story behind this deck is very interesting. So if you can just talk more about this one.
well, the Symbol of the Heart is very interesting to me because it's related to the Rosicrucian tradition. I told you that I want to create decks with heart and mind and spirit. Well, okay. I discovered the book of Daniel Kramer, um, full of very nice images. And I took these images and asked to a Bulgarian artist to paint them. Do you
I
want to
can
see?
yeah, I have the images, so I can
Yes,
show. You can just yeah,
yes.
you can
Thank
tell us
you.
more. Yeah.
Well, I asked to Stilian Stefanov. Okay, stay here. I
Mhm.
search that image.
Just tell me which card.
Okay, are you able to find this image?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Um,
So Stilian Stefanov used has painted. Yes, let me the time to search it. No, it's not the same, but
I'll
similar.
find.
This one. Okay,
Shall I bring the same one back or different?
okay. I take another image like this one.
Yeah, this one I have.
Yes, and This one.
I have to find this one. Yeah.
Okay. This one. Protection.
Okay, in wing somewhere. Probably somewhere.
You have lost this card. Well, there is no problem.
Yeah, I found it. It's always the last.
Well, and so I
So
have
what
all
were
the
with Daniel Kramer? What were like his? I guess his original images, and what was his work? What?
the
Why?
artist,
Yeah, the original.
the
Because
engraver.
1600s. Why Daniel Kramer created the original? What
No,
was like? What was
Dan-
his intention?
Daniel Kramer created the text of this book, Societe Rosa Cruciana, Vera Rosa Croce, and uh, the book was printed by not Debris, but Lucas Dennis in Frankfurt at the beginning of the 17th century, and Jennings gave the work to create, to engrave the images to Rudolf Meyer. That was a very interesting period for Europe, dramatic from one part, because in 78 started the war of the 30 years. But before the begin the war, started the Rosicrucian Order with Robert Fluth, Michael Mayer, and they produced a lot of books, and many of the books was full of images, like Atalanta Fungens, De Lapide Filosofico, and the history of both wars by Robert Fluth, and is very important that period because the esoteric thought of Rosicrucian is arrived until us, until the Golden Dawn and the members of the Golden Dawn, like Arthur Ridan Waite, Alistair Crowley, and others. And therefore, we can say that the Rosicrucian thought and even the images created by them are absolutely modern. For example, the Sibyl of the heart that speak from heart to heart, no? And speak about the pilgrimage of the heart, the joy and the problems of our heart and of our soul, because traditionally the heart is the place of the soul.
Yeah. You see, in yoga also, we talk about chakras, right? Like, well, yoga
Yes,
tradition, and the heart is actually the center of your energy system. So you have three chakras above, three chakras below. So in
yes.
the heart, that's where the exchange from the inside and outside happens, from like material and spiritual, Yeah, it's very important in my practice.
You can write something about the Sibyl of the heart and the yoga.
I can write about heart a lot. Yeah. Anahata, Anahata chakra. Yeah, that means unstruck, like sound, unstruck sound. Hmm.
Well, um, if you don't have other questions, we
I just
can.
wanted to make a comment because, well, with the original images, right? They come from 1600, right?
Yes,
16, yeah. And what for me is interesting, especially, I'll just bring myself in closer so you can just kind of have a look and comment. You see this image we have the broom of the whip, right? Crossing, and have a look at the Piatnik,
yeah,
Ferdinand Piatnik Lenormand. It's identical. And that's for me that like this particular image is especially fascinating because we have like, well, 16, well, beginning probably of 1600s, and then of course we have the Lenormand, but the image is so identical even if you look at the how the broom is, like how the depiction is.
yes.
But that's for me,
The,
it was very fascinating.
this is not the only image similar from Lenormand and between Lenormand and
No, yeah, because there are some other, but this one is like it's almost like it's exactly the same. Like we have coffin, we have
the
tower or
children,
house.
the children, the kid,
Yeah, but just this one is just identical. It's
yeah,
almost like a picture copy was pasted. So that's why. But even
even the kid at the game is similar. The rose is similar to the bouquet, and many images are similar.
yeah,
Um,
because even how the heart is painted. Just me just find one heart. I can't find it now, but okay. It doesn't matter like what card, but you see how the heart is very kind of, it's not small heart, it's more like plum heart, and it's very almost like identical how it's depicted.
yes, there
Yeah.
is another image with the heart and roses
Heart and Roses, yes, I did have this one.
in the Sibyl of the heart.
Is that this one or the other one?
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly this one.
Yeah, because this
This
one
is
also have like that, yeah.
no,
No, not that one.
this is a
But-
variant.
yeah, so that's why it was very interesting for
And
me because
there
it
is
was,
even the coffin is similar.
yeah, coffin is similar.
This one, see.
Yes, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Okay, in the booklet, I have explained the reasons of these similar images. Do you
But for
remember?
me, but why it's interesting for me because these images are Rosicrucian, right? And Lenormand is a divination fortune telling deck. So, like for me, it's interesting. Like, how did they get influenced? By these,
No,
like,
I don't think
especially this kind of the broom and the whip and the broom
yeah.
cards. Yeah.
But because you have to understand that many images were translated from a book to another book to another book, and in this way uh, began some iconographic tradition. Someone can tell um, archetypical images because when an image continue for centuries to be viewed from many people, became an archetypical image.
Hmm.
It's not properly an Jungian archetype, but it's properly an archetypical image. And I think this is the explanation because some images of the Lenormand deck are similar to the images of the Daniel Kramer book.
But you know what? Also for me, it's what's interesting for me is this Das Spiel der Hoffnung, the game of hope, which
Yes,
was original Lenormand. The images are not similar, but when we look at Dandorf and Piatnik, the images are similar to like the shape of the heart, how it's drawn is similar to the Daniel Kramer's work. Yeah. So it's very interesting because original Lenormand, if you look at Game of Hope, its depiction is different. And then we have this, and then we have Dandorf and Piatnik, and they are very similar.
Yeah, every artist design a new deck with some difference, and some remain similar or identical.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but okay, so my last question is about what's coming up. Are you working on, so you shared the deck, the tarot deck that will be released very soon. Your most recent one is Grotesque Tarot, but are you working on any courses you can share with us? That's something upcoming, or anything else? Books that will be published in English?
Well, the in this moment, I hope this book will be
Mm.
soon, very soon translated in English.
But
Is
so many of us, we really need it.
Yes, me too. I want to I want to translate it in English and Spanish, because a lot of people asked me to have it, because it's um, the most important book today. I made a research with and I spoke with many other specialists in tarot history, and I want to create a book with the most important news, and from the beginning, from the origin in the Rinascimento Italian, and to our race with the psychological application of the tarot, with the psychodrama, with the use of the tarot in with people that have mental problems, and new legends, like the legend of Mary the Magdalene, Mary of Magdala, launched by French pseudo esotericists,
Mm.
and other legends, and many discovered are in this book, and I hope it will be translated soon. Uh, I hope until the end of this year.
Yeah, no, it will be fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, and for people who are still in the chat, if you're watching, so all the links for Giordano's work are included for you. So it's all there below the video. The Rinascimento of Italian website in English is really great, especially if you want to learn more about the decks that you are interested in. Really good history and like detailed information about every deck. And then of course Etsy shop for international people. It's probably the easiest, right, to
Yes,
to
yes.
get in
In,
contact and to
in,
get.
uh, in the website of Rinascimento, you can read the synthesis of this deck, of each deck, and I put for the buyers, I put all my decks in on Etsy, because it's more easy to me. I cannot follow all my production, and it is better to put in a website well known worldwide.
Yeah. So Anne is saying that Mr. Berti must be familiar with Jung and his work.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Because Anne, I know Anne because yeah, she's my online
Yeah,
friend. She yes, she yeah, I don't know if I can share, but she's a specialist with Jungian philosophy. Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist. I am an historian of esotericism in art, but because Jung has studied even the esoteric, and in particular the alchemical tradition. Of course, it's necessary even to me to study the Jungian thought and read all the most important books of Jung.
Yeah.
I started to read Freud and Jung when I was a kid. Really, I
Wow.
have some of I really already have many of these books, and sometimes I um, come back to read them because it's important uh, to interlace to interlinks all our knowledge, because we can uh, we can apprehend many notions, but if you don't connect all your notions, your knowledge is not useful.
No. Yeah, and I'm a big believer in integration. You know, you need to learn to integrate. I only have one book from on June, and it's actually Anne, that lady, yeah, recommended it to me. And just let me quickly highlight. Cheyenne is saying, great conversation and interview. Thank you so much, Cheyenne, for your kind words. And Anne is saying, it's interesting that Jung was not so fascinated with tarot, but instead alchemy.
Yes, but Jung organized some study groups of his students to study the tarot. And a chapter of this book I tell about this experience, and where this experience um to the some people to
Mm.
create a new thought about the use, the psychological use of art.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a difficult question, Giordano. Jorge is saying, what do you think about Khodarovsky Tarot de Marseille? Thanks. He asked you this question, not me. I'm glad.
Is an embarrassing question.
Okay. No comments.
Can, can I not reply? No, I think Jodorowsky is a wonderful director, and a true genius, and a great writer of novels. And the I think probably one of the most great novels written by Jodorowsky is the Way of Tar.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay. Yeah, Derek is saying, I totally agree that breadth of knowledge is very important. Yeah, so widening the knowledge. And Anna saying what you said that you wrote about Jung, that she didn't know that. Wonderful. Thank you so much for this interview. All right, then. Yeah, so again, almost 2 hours, Giordano. Yes, so no, thank you so much, and please do stay after for a couple of minutes. But yeah, I'm just so grateful and so honored to have you here on my channel again for the second time, so we can kind of discuss another topic, another subject I'm passionate about when it comes to cards. And I'm very grateful for your time, and grateful to everyone who joined us live, and also for people who will be watching back.
Well, I hate uh, to excuse me with all people, because my very bad English. I hope um, to be clear, and with my rude language, but it's not my. No one is perfect.
No, your English, I tell you every time, your English is fine.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
English is not my first language either. So yeah, both of us kind of in the same, I guess, in the same boat.
Yeah. I read currently English, but my speaking is not very fluent. But I hope people understand what I say.
I think everyone
Uh,
does. Yeah.
Now I hope to eat something.
Hope to eat something hungry. Yeah, so people saying thank you. So we'll just say goodbye to everyone. And as I mentioned, just stay for a couple of
Thank
minutes. So
you, Derek.
yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and for watching and questions and participating. We appreciate your time. All the links are below. Again, Giordano, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks so
Always so grateful,
much.
so honored to know you. And yeah, so everybody will see you somewhere online. Until next time, bye everyone. Much love.
Bye.